Hey everyone, I'm Luke McGlam, and today I'm going to be presenting on color comprehension between genders. And since we're talking about colors, I thought I'd wear my most colorful shirt, even though it's a bit ugly. It's often joked about that women can see and name so many more colors than men. It does seem that for every color a man can recall from his box of crayons he had in grade school, a woman could name a dozen more shades of the same basic color. There's certainly some truth behind this joke. Whereas your average man would refer to my shirt as blue, a woman might look at it and say it's royal blue or sapphire or whatever it is. Research shows women do not only have a wider vocabulary, especially for colors, but are able to name colors quicker than men. Women typically show far more interest in concern in color than men do and have more interested in emotion reactions to color. Much scientific research has gone into discovering why women are more specific about color distinction. Is it because women just care more, or is there a more scientific, deeper answer to this? Do women have stronger ability to discern gradual color shade alterations than men? That's the question we're going to answer today. So my hypothesis after the research was no doubt women have a stronger ability to detect slight changes in color shade than men. And this is said to be due to just evolutionary gender roles where women had to learn how to distinguish color more so than men, whereas men learn to be better at seeing far range than up close. Um, so, for my methodology, in my experiment, 9 men and 9 women between the ages of 18 and 60 were sent a link to a quiz online that would test their ability to distinguish very slight changes in color hues. The quiz uses basic colors red, orange, blue, purple, all in slightly different shades of each to test the user's ability to tell apart very similar hues. They were told to take the same quiz in the most well lit room they had access to. 7 out of the 10 pairs lived in the same household and took the quiz at the same time in the same room. 1 week later, the same people were asked to take the quiz again, this time in a setting with more natural light. In both experiments, participants were asked which colors were the most difficult to discern. The independent variables are the location and lighting and the quiz used, while the dependent variables are the final scores of the participants. So table 1, experiment A here, is the men, and the first experiment, the second oldest and the youngest, 53 and 18 were the two who scored perfect scores, whereas the rest scored half or higher. So there appears to be no correlation between age and scores, which I was a bit surprised by. But the men reported overall that red was the most difficult, closely followed by yellow. The men overall together scored an average mean of 8 out of 10 points, whereas the women here on table 2, only one scored perfectly. She was the one who went to art school and was basically trained for this quiz. But the rest scored much, got only half right. And again, there's no correlation between age or ability to discern colors or which colors were reported to be the most difficult. Women reported that pink was the most difficult overall, but together they only scored an average mean of 7.3. So experiment A surprised me. It saw men scoring an average mean of 8 out of 10, almost a point higher than women's 7.3. So this was in the unnatural lighting. Whereas 1 week later, the same participants were asked to take the same quiz in the natural light. So table 3, experiment B here, same 9 men, 7 of them got the same scores as last time. One of them scored 1 point higher, and the older gentleman who scored perfectly last time got only 7 out of 10. So men's average went down to a 7.6, which is really all the older gentlemen. Table 4 here shows that the women actually went up. 3 of them scored significantly higher than last time, and almost none of them nobody got just half. They all went a little bit higher. So women ended up with an average mean of 7.9 this time, higher than men's average of 7.6. So experiment A had the opposite result of my hypothesis. 2 male participants scored perfectly, and all of the men scored higher than half. This was an unnatural light. Experiment B, with natural lighting, 3 women scored higher, and the rest were consistent. But combining the scores from A and B, it showed the men had an overall score of 7.8 and women scoring 7.6. So the difference is not significant enough to state that either gender has a much stronger ability to see colors. But if anything, my experiment showed that men were able to see better than women. Even when men had a lower overall score, they were more consistent in their individual scores. So they were less affected by the natural or unnatural lighting. This may have been due to the lighting in each individual room, or maybe the screen sizes, time limitations, or how far the participants were away from the screen. But it may just be due to women just care more about colors and just have a wider vocabulary and just concern more for color distinction, and do not really have a higher ability to tell colors apart. My original hypothesis was incorrect. Gender does not appear to play a factor in color comprehension. Each experiment is just too close to say women see more color or men. In the end, men did have a higher average mean, but the difference is just not big enough to say one gender clearly has a stronger ability than the other. So thank you for watching. Please ask any questions you care to. All my notes, my discussion, my abstract, and everything, my bibliography is included in the link. If you would like to take it, I would love to see your results. So thank you for watching.